From Gainesville nights where the lights burn bright. Swamp shake heavy when the paths collide. 25 champs and we still outside. Neck cut down, but we hungry inside. Hardwood kings with the fast break glow. Feet heat and we run that show. Golden built that pressure zone. Orange wave make the whole place blow. Oh, orange, blue, Gators breaking through. Swamp roll out, that's what we do. Chomp, chomp, bite down, they're through. Whole crowd shaking when we aim at you. Orange, blue, stand up with the crew. 4 fingers up when we hit you too. Chomp, 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 Gator coming through. Swamp roll out, that's what we do. Who you with?
Welcome to the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, a Sidelines Live production. I'm your host, Loren Meadows of GatorBaitMedia.com with the best shoe game in the Gator media. And tonight, as we always do every month, we come to you with our monthly installment of What's Got Troupe Trippin with former Gator great, 84 Reasons podcast host, Ben Troupe, as we break down what's going on with the Gators. Got the NBA draft going on, and to sum it all up, we also have my man Rob Browne of SEC Sidelines joining the show as well. The Sidelines Live team would like to thank our sponsors, Meldon Law and Titan MRI Imaging. Subscribe to the Lowdown with Loren Meadows on YouTube and Facebook, as well as our partner shows on the Sidelines Live Network, including The Buddy Martin Show, SEC Sidelines, and Scarborough Knows. And follow yours truly on Instagram at Ohio Gator for Life and X at Real Ohio Gator. Let's get to it. The Washington Wizards take AJ DeBansa with the first pick in the NBA draft. Draft moving along. Got some high names if you're somebody that follows the game, you know, going through the different picks and things like that. But AJ DeBansa definitely somebody who looks to be pro ready and ready to roll. So we'll see kind of how that goes for him there. But and then Darren Peterson went to the Jazz. Cameron Boozer, who was almost a Gator from Duke, went third. Fourth was Caleb Wilson, Mikael Brown of Louisville, Darius Acuff, another household name, very prominent name with Florida Gators. Kingston Flemings, the young guard from Houston, went to the Hawks. So the draft moving along, and now the Golden State Warriors, who have our own Will Richard, are on the clock. So what's up, fellas?
What's up, Lauren?
What's going on? Y'all watching the draft? Y'all anybody into the draft? NBA fans?
My daughter's letting me know about everybody who she thought was going to be going here and going there. I mean, I knew that AJ was going to be I know he was going to be first, but this draft, I mean, very, very guard heavy. I mean, a lot of guards going, and hey, it used to be about the bigs, right? At least,
yeah,
it used to be, they a lot of these guys, I know that the old Michigan coach just got hired to be the Mavs coach. A lot of his players going to go, but if you are big and you looking for a young man to distribute the ball to you, you're gonna get a lot of guards in this draft. You mentioned the Fleming kid that's going to Atlanta. I know that CJ McCollum signed another 1-year deal with the Hawks. It's not going to mean anything. My Hawks, man. This is the same Hawks team that drafted Luka Doncic. Like what somebody said, what if I told you that the Hawks drafted Luka Doncic and traded him for Trae Young and then traded Trae Young? Well, that really happened.
Right.
Like, that really happened. You had Luka Doncic. You drafted him. We go, no. We want to go a small ball. We want to go Trae Young. And now he's with the Wizards. So
with the Wizards, right? And it'll be interesting to see him and DeBansa play off each other. Rob, you right there in the heart of one of the most loved NBA franchises. You on the NBA at all? You're on mute.
I've been so turned off and disgusted by John Morant. He kind of killed my Grizzlies love. He's such a jerk, and and I used to go to 25 or 30 games a year. But I'm just so tired of scumbags like him. He $250 million contract, and he's hanging out with. They've made it no fun to go to the games, and he kind of is a cancer in the locker room. I'm telling you, the NBA's in trouble. They are soccer. This World Cup, you've got the NFL, which doesn't care about anybody but the NFL. Then you got college football. Now you've got soccer. I think soccer's third. NBA's, I don't know, 4th or 5th, maybe. They've got an image problem, and they need a superstar who will be a basketball player and just focus on being basketball. They've lost their way, but they
Well,
so
the
is the
biggest thing I
NFL.
think too
Yeah.
is when they, the one and done is a waste, if you
Yeah,
know what I
I
mean.
hate
It's
that.
and I think between the one and done and then the NIL and some of the transfer, it just what you get now. It's hard to, you used to be a guy stayed at your school 4 years,
Yeah.
then a guy like an Al Horford or Joe Kim Noah, then they go on and then you root for them. It just you don't have the household names anymore, and I think that's tough. And then when you do have the diamonds in the rough, I hope John Morant can. I'm not going cast shade on one or the other. I just think that you're starting to really lose some of the generational type
Yeah.
players and things like that. So hopefully, but I mean, you do got some great European players. I mean, you think Wemby's going to be a great view for the next
Yeah.
10 years. Obviously, Jalen Brunson and that group, the Knicks will be right there in the hunt. See what Boston can do if Tatum can get healthy. Big news. Giannis going down to Miami. They're going to have to find some people to put around him, but you partner him with Bam and some others, and depending on what happens, see what happens. I mean, I don't think they have an issue finding free agents to get down to Miami. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I like the NBA. I kind of like the NBA better than college outside of the Gators, but that's just me. Maybe that's the old Laker fan in me and that kind of thing. But we'll get to that in a minute, but the floor is yours, Ben Troupe. I know every month you come with some good fodder, some good discussion, and the floor is yours, sir. What's got Troupe tripping?
The Brendan Sorsby situation got me tripping for a lot of reasons. I mean, I know that the young man made some mistakes in college, but I don't like how everything was handled. When everybody was like the supplemental draft, Brendan Sorsby is not a good enough player to cause a supplemental draft. Supplemental drafts are for guys who just flew under the radar and just didn't get drafted like we knew they would. We're talking about a young man who he was betting on football. I don't know who this judge is in Texas that gave him that injunction to let him play. Texas Tech knew we don't have enough of a reputation to allow this young man to come back and play. And the reason why I think this situation is going to have to blow over, because college football, I get it. During off season, transfer portals, young men, drunk driving, NIL deals, and then you had this. This took me by surprise when I saw it, because I thought it was a one-time thing. Oh, he made a mistake. This dude was betting a lot, and I don't like this. Oh, we didn't know what was going on. I just think that when you think about college football as a whole, I'm gonna say this: Brendan Sorsby is not a big enough name to reshape college football. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Maurice Charette said, look, he had everybody thinking that high school players can enter the draft. That lasted about 2 months. He ended up in the 3rd round pick by the Denver Broncos, and they cut him before he ever got to play NFL down. This Sorsby situation shows why the NCAA should get more scrutiny, because they sit on their hands with everything. NIL sat on their hands, transfer portal sat on their hands, but every time something comes out, they applaud it. While I appreciate the Nick Sabans of the world, the big name guys saying things about it, and when it comes to NIL and transfer portal, college athletes are under a lot of scrutiny. I do not like two things I will never, ever like. I don't like how the Brendan Sorsby situation was handled, because it could have been handled a lot better. And I do not like the fact that after Pete Rose take his last breath, now he is eligible for the Hall of Fame. I do not like that, because it's a level of disrespect that went on while this man was alive. And I don't want to hear that. No, we always planned it this way. Liars. I do not believe that. Once he's gone, now he can go in. Come on, man. So I'm never going to be a fan of betting, especially when you're the quarterback and you literally control the floor of the game. But I'm not going to cast this young man out. There's a lot of ways he can play UFL, XFL, CFL. There's a lot of ways. But the supplemental draft, I'm sorry. When they said that all these 32 NFL teams, what's the NFL team going to do with Sorsby on their team? What? Because, like I said, he's going to still get a chance to play. I just think that he's going to have to sit out a year, and hopefully he keeps his head clean this next year, because he's going to have to figure out how to stay away from Vegas in 2026 as well, because people are going to be monitoring. Even though I think he's no longer eligible. I don't know if he's still eligible to play, because I think he's in the supplemental draft, but I just don't like how this whole situation was handled. The young man made a mistake. I'm not going to, throw dirt on him while he's still living. But the NCAA, what do the NCAA do? Like what? I'm really trying to understand what they do at this point.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and we talked about this on the show a lot of times, is I think the NCAA, their biggest, the thing that they are most guilty of is getting in their own way. All of this could have been avoided. Everything that is going on right now could have been avoided. But they sat on their hands, they dug their heels in the ground. And Ben, when we were in school, well, you're a little younger than me, but when I was in school and right after, all that always came up. Give them a little something. Give the kids a little something. Let them be able to do this. Let them be able to have a job or do a little commercials here, things like that. And you wouldn't have had any of this. And now, like you said, the online betting and things like that is off the rails. Shame on the young man for putting not only himself but others in harm's way, whether it be if UC had a great year. I mean, at one time they were what, I think first or second place in the Big 12, heading to the Big 12 championship game, in the mix there, headed, right there playing well. And, it could have put everything, in jeopardy. So, I think that, you have that, but then you have what the NCAA, the NCAA, like our man Franz Beard likes to say, has just been ignorant for so long. And now, this thing is still, they got that bill out there. I just don't know. I don't know where this thing is going to go and how you put the genie back in the bottle. I mean, Rob, you follow this, you talk to people, people are trying to still find ways to, you talked about, what's going on in Colorado and other places and how they're trying to, and even Florida is still woefully behind in its NIL design and things like that. So, outside of, I guess my question is, the beauty of it is the game is still the game. And at 12 o'clock p.m. on Saturdays, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 3:30, 7:30, it's still 22 guys trying to kick each other's teeth in. But the outside noise, you mentioned the NBA, what keeps college football from kind of falling the same way? Because you and I both know the more money they get, the more voice they're going to get, one way or the other. And one can say, I can agree with this or I can agree with that. But you look at, the thing with Jackson Dart and, different things like that. People are going to start using that money to start to buy an influence. And you and I both know, particularly somebody like me, if you would have handed me, and I'll just keep it real, $8 million when Bill Clinton was running for president, I probably would have gave him about 15, 20 grand and probably introduced him too. So, because I'm into politics, not that I talk it on, I'm just saying it's only going to take so many things or somebody makes a comment and then what? Because it's all out there right now.
Hey, let me say first off, Ben, a couple of weeks ago, we were asking who's the greatest NBA players of all time. And Ben said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So I'm watching the best of Pawn Shop Stars last night with my wife, and they had this guy in Pennsylvania that had a memorabilia thing for Kareem. Oh my God, you forget what he did. Now, I had his trading card, Lou Alcindor, from when he came from New York to UCLA. He won state championships in high school. He won national championships every year in college, and he won 6 in the NBA. I take my vote back and agree with the great gentleman from Swainsboro, Georgia. Because I love Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a great actor, statesman. But I'll say this: the betting thing, and I like to fun around and bet a steamer pack of crystals or a box of fluorescent bulbs and some sponges. But let me say this: I don't like people drinking when they're hunting with me. That's a no-no because bad stuff can happen. And I wouldn't trust anybody betting on the team. I talked to Roman Harper about this at length lately, and he said, man, in the NFL, and Ben, you know this, they read you the riot act. You mess with that stuff, just remember Paulie in Goodfellas when Ray Liotta was wanting to deal with the white stuff, and he said, no, don't know that. And he slapped him a little bit. He goes, don't blank me. No betting. And the fact that Cody Campbell and that money, it's an embarrassment. And the more they talk, the more they hurt themselves. And so, yeah, I mean, look, I love the NBA because I see what they do in Memphis at Tridelt House and St. Jude and Ronald McDonald House. These guys are generous beyond belief. No, their accountants help them be generous, but for tax purposes, but they're good guys. They're not all bad. I'm just mad at Ja because the Grizzlies, man, we used to go to so many games. But as far as the betting with Brendan Sorsby, I'm with Ben. That guy, good riddance. He's not an elevator. He was not going to be a first round, second round. Ben, I got to ask you real quick. Supplemental draft, is it like they call a special session of Congress to do the supplemental draft? How rare is it? Last time was what, 22?
It's very rare. It does happen. It doesn't happen so much that people forget about it.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I don't. When you think about certain guys that had an opportunity to get drafted, and for some odd reason they didn't get drafted, and you have to be a potential headliner in the NFL. You got to be a potential face of a franchise, and it has to be more than just one person. And I'm gonna keep saying this about Sorsby. It's not so much that he made a mistake. It's so much from DraftKings. It's so much betting that goes on. I think sometimes when people say, hey, when someone says Rob, when you were 19, you go, oh man. Because you can go back to when you were and saying,
yes.
Like it's like when the Adrian McPherson kid was at Florida State and somebody gave him a blank check and was crazy that he put a lot of zeros on it. I'm sorry, but the hardest question to ask is, or the hardest statement people say is, if I had 88 million, I would, if I won the lottery, I would. You don't know what you're gonna do. Until you get it, you don't know what you're gonna do, and that's like saying,
fool. That's what I'm gonna do.
And the thing about this, Rob, it's like this, Rob. You in the helping people with their money business. There are people that come in there and say, "Hey," the first thing you say to them is, "How much money you think you spent?" "Oh, you spent way more than that." And then you say, okay, well, how much money do you want to keep? Because it's not how much money you got. I mean, it's not how much money you had. It's how much money you got. And I think now when you start talking about college football, when people say, hey, you mean to tell me the most money most people are going to see every year is an income tax check, and I'm 18 years old and I'm going to get $1 million? How daddy going to help me with that? How mama going to help me with that? Now they can help me spend it, but NIL is not a perfect science. Neither is the College Football Playoff Committee. And no one comes to them. They won't even tell us how they voted. They in a room, and we can see them. Neither was the BCS. And I think that when you start talking about college football, because let's call it what it is. When we talk about college athletics, there is a separate. There is college football, and there is everything else. Basketball, baseball. So we are talking college football first because they got the biggest stadiums. They're going to have the biggest names. We're watching the NBA draft. And if they didn't put where the young man went to school, you be like, which one was he? He played for who? The NFL draft, I remember that kid. That's 250-some guys. So I'm not coming at Brendan Sorsby because, like I said, when I was in college, it was a dude named Nolan Simmons. He was our financial aid guy. And every time we used to go to the Office of Student Life, our OSL, we up in there saying, hey, man, I just got a loan for $2,500. I just got approved for. And then Nolan see me, you get your a Pell Grant. And he'll say, Ben, please stop going on these loan websites. You're on full scholarship. And he goes, I know you don't believe this. They're not going to approve you for a loan for $1,500. No. Like, we ain't even trying to get no $100,000. This is back when I was in college. Nobody trying to get that. So I will say this. My nephew goes to Kennesaw State right now. They don't talk about NIL there. They know what it is. And NIL is more of a myth than anything else. Out of all of college athletics, male and female, when we talk about percentages, I guarantee you it might not be 15%, 20%. Most of college athletics is like it was when we played, Loren. So so a lot of times when these players be like, what is this NIL stuff I heard about? Parents coming on visits talking about, what's this NIL? When I can tell it now because it's over with. When I was at Florida, they used to have this thing to where we used to get free, back when we had home phones, you got free long distance calls. Like we used to put Miss Nicole, look how long this called. You know, that was a little perk. It was a little
Yeah,
perk.
Classic, Ben.
It was a little perk.
that same
It
way.
ain't going
Yeah.
on. I mean,
You said it,
a
I
home
did.
phone
Yeah,
now
right,
a home phone now is an artifact. A home phone now
right,
is an artifact. So this young
right.
lady comes on to visit, and her mom says, tell us about the free long distance calls. And, the recruiter like, and the recruiter had to do what he tried to give her that. What are you talking about? But she didn't get the memo. It got out. Just imagine we sitting there going, hello, got shut down. Now, mind you, that was the extent of recruiting when I was there. The free long distance, you dial up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in the day, man, you call somebody on a computer. And we think nothing of it. Yeah, nowadays, man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when all cell phones, the screen was black and the numbers was neon green. And now, so I think that for me, when I hear about trying to use one young man, hey, betting is not rampant with players in the NBA in college. Calvin Ridley is the only player I can remember currently in the NFL that got, because people are like, how you know it's him? Well, his username is Calvin Ridley Falcons. I'm like, so I think that when I think about the type of things that go on, these players, give them a lot of credit. But how many players it is and how much betting could go on, they're doing it really, really, because they're very, very tempted to do it, but they're not doing it. So I just didn't think it was going to be a supplemental draft. I don't like the coverage that goes on. This young man,
I love it. Ben, call home. Phone home.
No doubt. That looked like
that's what it
that
was.
looked like the phone that was in the Meadows house right there on the wall before you went down the basement.
And think about this. Think about this, Lauren. First, it went from the cordless, and then first, you got the long cord. If somebody had a cordless, you saw somebody walk outside, bro, you still on the phone? Yeah. Where you get? It's like now technology doesn't even give these young people. People be like, so did you have your kids coming up to you and say, did you have a payphone? Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
What? And used to love it. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember people who, if they trying to get a job back in the day, they didn't have a home phone. They would give the employer the freaking, number to the freaking payphone.
Payphone down, and you had to sit there or somebody answer the phone for you.
Yeah, so
Let me
so now I think the biggest thing that I see in college athletics is I just want some level of equalness, if that's even a word, because I'm trying to tell y'all what happens it's like this. If I go to the University of Florida, do you know how naive I am if I'm talking to somebody that's going to UCF or USF? Because they're like, oh, it's supposed to be even, but when you if you go to Ohio State, that is football royalty in the state of Ohio. And when they get to talking about if a friend of his went to a smaller school in Ohio and they come home and visit, they were like, y'all get to do what? Yeah, man, we got private chefs. What's a chef? Like a person that'll make your food right there in front. What? It's different world. On top of the fact that when we left to go to school, my dad gave me that old beat up, 89 Buick. And I love that car. You coming in there with a 2026. I'm like, hey, what kind of? So I think that's the thing is when we be talking about NIL, we are talking about the 1% of the 1%. It is not outside of Indiana. I take that out. The same teams that were going to win it without NIL are going to be the same teams that's going to win it with NIL. They're going to be the same teams because they got the alumni and the funding. So I don't know why people. Every time I see my nephew, man, he'll call the crib. Hey, Auntie Cheryl cook. What you talking about? Did she cook anything? And when he's coming with a little grocery bag. He in the pantry, which I didn't understand that. Right? And that's how I was. Now I have to
real
watch
college
him,
right there.
I have to watch
Care
him,
package and getting in the pantry, right?
And Lauren, I have to watch him now. I say, wait a minute now, whoa, them mine right there now. Not those. You can get them, don't. So I think that when we make a big thing about NIL, and yes, Ben, it's easy for me to say this because I went to Florida. I used to love bowl games because we get extra money.
Yeah.
That's why I want to go to the biggest one we can. But when people be thinking, these kids, Rob, if they let you represent every college athlete, male or female, that got NIL, you know what you would say? That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all of it. it's not it's not as many as we think. And
I agree with that.
every time I see a young man get his mama a house, you know what I say? That's a 30-year loan. So
Yeah.
you gonna pay for that for 30 years? Or now, if you can put the down payment down and mama can maintain the payments, get mama home. But if
Right.
you got to pay for it, young man, that's two houses. Because that ain't your house, that's mama.
Right. Now
I'm
you
telling
gotta move. You gotta move into mama's house if you smart.
yeah,
That's what you do.
pretty soon,
You
you better
move
get a
in. You
5-bedroom.
move in. Yeah.
Yeah,
You move in with mama with matching masters. But
but
speaking of tight ends, want to send a quick shout out to our man Cal Pitts, Florida's own, signed a 3-year, $54 million contract extension, $36 million in fully guaranteed money, making him the largest 3-year contract for a tight end in NFL history. So shout out to our man Cal Pitts. I'm partial to this guy to my left there for greatest tight end in Florida history, but Cal Pitts, I mean, on the numbers and things like that, obviously a different tight end than Ben. He didn't have to block that 7 technique and that 9 as much as Ben did, and
man,
get
I love
after it on that
I love
combo
Cal
block.
Pitts, man.
But yeah, I mean, shout out to Cal Pitts, was solid cat, man, and definitely rebounded. Kind of had an off year. I think it was 2025. 2024 was a little off year, but 25 bounced back. Looks like the quarterback situation is steadying a little bit there. So, to be interesting to see what happens. But shout out to Cal Pitts, man, and doing his thing for sure. But we're at this point now, gentlemen, where it's getting close, and media day is going to be coming around the corner and things like that. And you look at the different magazines, and a lot of people are bullish on Summerall and what's going on and things like that. But I think the cautionary tale is we were all here last year around this time and expecting a football team that, I said it a million times, 9-3 and the right 9 and the right 3. And this is a team that's playing in December. I think I want to pull back from that a little. I mean, you look at the schedule, and I think they got 2 gimmies, so I give them 2-0. But my question is, realistically, what are we looking at? And I want to do this in 2 parts. I want to do it in realistic expectations and then realistic reaction. And when we do the realistic reaction, I want to keep in mind that we are all fans of either the SEC and or the Florida Gators themselves. And what is the real, what are we really thinking? But before we do that, I want to talk about the good folks at Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, proven and skilled lawyers since 1971. Doing great things. Speaking of football season, they'll be doing giveaways and all types of things for people to enjoy experiences. Like I keep saying, they did a great experience for Morgan Wallen concert, VIP experience. And they do a lot of that around the Florida-Georgia game. I'm sure they'll do something even bigger, seeing it's in Atlanta this year. But just really appreciate the good folks at Meldon Law. But at their core, they're a great law firm with great customer service and mainly injury law, things like that. But if there's a legal need that they can't help you with, they could point you in the right direction for somebody that can help you. But offices up and down the east coast of Florida, all the way down to South Florida, all the way as north as Lake City, Meldon Law, we won't back down. Ben, when you look at this team and you look at Summerall and what's going on, let's be real. The way that this team is constructed, you got basically, 4 or 5 of your top linemen are newcomers. You got young receivers, talented but young, an unproven quarterback, one way or the other, whether it's Philo, whether it's Tramel Jones. You solid at the running back position because, Jaden Boss special, but, let's face it, there's 50 guys that could tote the rock. So I never worry about the running back position per se. Now, if they can't step up and knock a Mike linebacker blitz in the teeth, then you got problems. But and then defensively, a group that's kind of underachieved, looking for a little bit of an attitude, but the talent's there with Miles Graham, Jaden Robinson, Cormani McClain had a good year. Brandon Belt, outside of his issues, Jaden Woods, LJ McCray, if he can stay healthy. But when we look at the schedule, and we went through it, but you know, when we look at it as the whole, the big picture, is it fair that to say that this is a team that can win 8-9 games, or is it better to temper expectations?
I think you have to do both. Here's why. I think the thing about the Summerall situation that makes it peculiar is this. One, if you ever talk to him, he gonna make you believe. But there are still people that are really, really mad that they picked him and not Lane Kiffin. There are still people that are really, really sick about that, right? Here's why I say you have to go both ways with it. If Florida can find a way to beat Oklahoma at home, they can beat the South. Because I'm looking at them home games. Texas, they pretty heated about what didn't happen in Florida last year. So you talk about the Texans, you talk about the Georgia game. I mean, you talk about certain games on here, but Vanderbilt at home, Kentucky on the road, you can find a way to get those. Oklahoma at home, I mean, that would be a big, huge win for Florida at home. Georgia's probably going to be rough. Texas probably going to be rough. Probably can get South Carolina. Missouri can be a toss-up. Ole Miss is going to be rough. If you can get – the thing about Florida is this. You're going to know who you are trending upward or not against Auburn because you got two teams that are very, very similar. Either Summerall was going to Auburn and the coach from USF was going to Florida, or they just flipped. The USF coach went to Auburn, and now we get Summerall. I saw the 7-5, and that's fair. That's very, very fair. Here's what I think the thing about Florida is this. I do not want to lose, Loren and Rob, but the new barometer in college football is how you look when you lose. Like, were you competitive or was it a runaway? Because let's face it, when you start talking about quarterbacking, Florida's is still up in the air. Like, most of these teams, they got good quarterbacks. You talk about Auburn and what they're going to have. You talk about Ole Miss. You talk about Missouri. You talk about South Carolina. Some of these guys are picked to be top quarterbacks in 2027. When I think about this Florida team is this. You have to be sure at the quarterback position, sure with the scheme, and if the defense, when the defense plays quality. Haven't we been saying this for years, Loren? Get off the field on third down.
Period.
I mean, two things.
Make them punt.
Well, here's the thing. Get off the field on third down. DBs, track the ball in the air. Just track it, right? And just tackle guys. We miss more tackles in a game, and that's football fundamentals. Because I think the thing about this offense is this: you got a lot of weapons, but you for sure at the running back position, you got a retooled offensive line. You got a quarterback coming from Georgia Tech who understands what Coach Faulkner's trying to do, and you got a lot of weapons. That looks good on paper. But you know how it is, Loren. When they get out there for real, how does it look? I am just looking forward to throwing passes vertically on third down and not horizontally. I got sick of that the last 4 or 5 years. And I think this schedule is going to show the type of Coach Summerall, call it what you want to call it, the man wins games. I mean, he just does. And the University of Florida, had 7 guys drafted with the record that we had last year. It shows that the brand is still there, but the football got to equal up. So I think 7-5 is fair. I think 8-4 is doable. I think 9-3 is a slam dunk. 9-3 with this schedule, because like I said, you got a lot of teams vying to do some big things with a lot of big time. Florida doesn't have the quarterbacks coming back like a lot of these schools do. And as much as I love these skill positions, as much as I love the tight ends and the receivers and the running backs, the quarterback is the one. When you got a QB, and I'm not saying we don't, you're gonna be in the mix. But if Summerall can win, if we win seven wins, 5 losses, it's not gonna be the season that you wanted. But here's the thing, Loren. This ain't lowering expectations. compared to what it has been, to get back to where you're trying to go, you got to show, hey man, we got a good foundation first, good foundational pieces. And if the key guys can stay healthy, and the guys that looked upon to make some strides do that, I think Florida, if they get to 8-4, if Florida gets to 8-4, okay. You talk about 9-3, people. If Florida 9-3, you got to sit back and go, wait a minute. Now, Texas. If you lose to Texas, Georgia, and Ole Miss, and you beat everybody else,
it's a good year.
I'm sorry, and this is just outside of the SEC. Who's going to have a resume like that nationally with those types? So I think 9-3. I don't know if my heart could take that. I'll take it. I'll take it. But I just think that for me, I want Summerall to show why he's the guy, not just for now, but moving forward. And we've come a long way for a new head coach. And a lot of people are picking him to go 7-5. That says a lot about him with the team he's inheriting. But I think the 9-3 would be a dream season. 8-4 is very, very good. They're gonna have to win one. They're gonna have to win one of those home games. Oklahoma, just depends on where they are in the season. I think we got Mizzou at home. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but they can. That Auburn game to me is gonna be the one, because you don't want to lose to USF in 2025 and lose to that same coach in 2026, even if he is in Auburn, because they're gonna start saying, you know how they do in the state of Florida,
the quarterback. Who I think people need to. I'm gonna put it out there for the quarterback again already, because he can go. Rob, you've been a big supporter, but are we? Where are we realistically thinking? Where should we be? And I mean, you talk to a lot of people. Everybody says quarterback is 1A, got to get it done. But you look at the defensive line that doesn't have necessarily a get after the quarterback guy per se, not yet. I think LJ McCray, it's all about potential right here, Rob. And so you look at this team, is where should we be looking at this football team as it's presently constructed?
Well, I mean, if you're a Gator fan, I'm just looking at some numbers. Starting in 1992, December 5th, when the SEC championship game was first played in Birmingham. That first 18 years, Florida won it 7 times. Alabama didn't win it. They won it their third time in 2009, Saban's third year, after they lost badly to Florida in 2008. So, you know what? Florida fans think they're going to win all the time because they did win at such a high clip. And from 89 to 2009, they were the winningest program in college football, over 200 victories. I mean, that is such a big deal. And low what I see in talking to so many different people that cover the SEC is, one, Buster Faulkner. He's got a reunion with Eric Singleton, who went to Auburn, and played club football last year, but they're back at varsity level now. I am so disgusted with what I've seen out of Auburn the last 5 years. It's the worst since post-World War II. I don't blame the kid for leaving. I would too. I don't blame him one bit. I mean, you got a guy there that doesn't have all of his digits to throw you the ball. Peyton Thorne 2 years in a row. Then you had Jackson Arnold, who looked like a deer in the headlights. But no, I've got Florida at 8-4, but what it drives me crazy, and I know it's the fans, but I hope the players aren't talking about the schedule, because they do hear what the fans say. You're going to have a tough schedule in the SEC every year. Guess what? If you join the Marine Corps for the college money, you're an idiot, because you're going to be deployed. That's part of being a Florida Gator. That's part of being in the SEC. Last year in the preseason, the top 20 strength of schedule rankings, which in college football is really it's useless. Basketball and baseball, you play a lot more games. It does matter. But last year, 15 of the top 16 strength of schedules in America were in the SEC. The only one that wasn't in that top 16 was Missouri. Show me. They were at a lowly number 20. So, you know what? When you look at Florida's roster, it's the 10th most talent-rich in America, according to the Blue Chip Index. And you look at portability of success with John Summerall. I mean, Ben's right. He won both years, played for the conference championship at Troy on 231. He did it twice at Tulane. That is a really significant accomplishment. And there's a lot of things about him is Billy Napier, low energy, nice guy. I'm sure. I don't know him. John Summerall really doesn't care if you like him or not. He's hard, but he's fair. You're all equally, in the doghouse until you prove otherwise. And I do think Florida fans, if I was a Florida fan, man, I'll be honest, I always am. I wanted him so bad. I told people months before this. I said, this he's a hard ass. None of these. I mean, I remember people going, well, you got to be like Mike McDaniel or whatever, that guy at the Dolphins. He's real hip and cool and players love it. Oh, where is he now? Selling Cokes? He ain't around anymore. The hard asses, the alpha male culture, it wins. The betas and the sweater vests like Gus Malzahn are back out at Lake Martin. Nobody wants that crap. You got the best. You hired the best coach. That or Bob Chesney. I don't like Lane Kiffin. He's a narcissist. I like that Bob Chesney guy at UCLA. Other than that, Florida got the best hire in college football. And I'm not saying that to placate y'all. It's just what I see. I've just followed this guy, and John Hartwell, my good friend, has known him since high school. He is what you see. You got the real McCoy or the real Gator.
Right. What worries me, and you look at it, is you go to Kentucky on November 14th.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you come home to Vanderbilt, but that's following a stint of at Texas, basically at Georgia in Atlanta, let's face it, and Oklahoma at home. And then you go to Kentucky on November 14th, and growing up 2 hours from Lexington, it could be 75 degrees or it can be 5 degrees. it just
that close to Lexington.
What's that?
You grew up that close.
Yeah, straight down 75. Can't miss it.
Yeah.
2 hours from my front door to Lexington to Kroger Field is right at 2 hours. Okay. But I said all that to say, now we look at a situation where he's winning the offseason and really doing good things, and it's kind of where we were last year, and everybody's looking good. But then we look at this situation, Ben, and we'll pass it back to you. Where is the fine line between, okay, we're going to be okay, and man, this, where people start thinking, like you said, maybe we should have got Kiffin or James Franklin or whoever, You
gotta beat the teams that you're better than, and you got to compete with the teams that's better than you on paper. Because I think the thing about Billy Napier was there was no college coaches got to have an in between. Like it's like a quarterback. He got a quarterback with a big arm. He got to know how to hit the layups. You can't throw everything 100 miles an hour, right? When it comes to Coach Summerall, he knows this. No matter what, they can't wait to say, well, he came from Tulane if he doesn't coach well, as if to say every coach got to come from somewhere. If Coach Summerall is competitive in Atlanta, because if you think about Atlanta, that is going to hopefully benefit him. Georgia fans already think that, Florida, it's in Jacksonville, it's unfair. So now you're going to be in Atlanta. Georgia has been there a lot, as of late going, he's starting off the season there, or you're talking about the Peach Bowl, or you talk about the SEC Championship. When it comes to these big, these program names, these Georgias, Ole Miss as of late, Oklahoma, Texas, take nothing away from every other school. You got to be competitive against those schools because we see them in Atlanta. We've seen Ole Miss beat Georgia without Lane Kiffin on the sideline. We've seen their quarterback get to come back this season. That's how college football has always been. How do you look against teams that are good enough to win it all? There's nothing against Kentucky, nothing against Mizzou, nothing against Vanderbilt. They're not winning it all. Ole Miss has never been to the SEC championship game, and no one cares because of this era, because they just beat the SEC champion in the college football playoff. I think that's what because Loren, no one knows Gator Nation like us. We are we are rough.
As well.
Because let me say this. Coach Summerall, he hasn't experienced that shit. Like it has not happened yet. His wife ain't told him what it's like going around Gainesville, trying to get groceries. She hasn't seen it yet either. And I don't like that part of it.
Yeah.
But social media has made Gator Nation or any of these college fan bases nuts. Because now we really got access to each other. And when we say don't listen to it, don't listen to what? I mean, because somehow you got an X handle. So you're gonna be I think for me, the 8-4, like I said, would be phenomenal. 9-3 would be because here's the thing, Loren. Here's the thing, Rob. Just say he goes 9-3, right? Oh my God, how you think 2027 goes? Can he do it again? You saw what he did. So I think for Summerall, he has to. This is what I realize about coaches. In order for a coach to be really, really good, they got to find a rhythm that the rest of the team can do. The team got to get with you, but he got to set the tone. When I got to Florida, the rhythm was already set with Coach Murray. But then Zook comes in, that's a new tone, and we had to. And Coach Zook beat Florida State this last year, but he lost to Mississippi State. So you can't keep him around. So I think for Coach Summerall is, hey, how do you get us on the same wavelength with you, Coach? And like I said, the coaches love him. I saw Miles Graham all at his house taking pictures. They love the dude. You ain't got no reason not to love the guy. He's a former player.
Right. Let's get Rob in.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, I mean, I think look, Florida is one of the programs that you just look at that Gator logo and it is got sex appeal. It just, you think of great athletes. I've been to so many games where Florida and Auburn and Florida, whoever, they stand out. And so your fan base expects to win. That's healthy. But if you look, but here's the thing. Ben talked about NIL, and right, there's not Travis Davidson, OU insider, KREF radio out of Oak City, Norman, covers Oklahoma, has been on a lot lately with the baseball coverage. And we talked about, what he does on the side. He works with NIL athletes at Oklahoma to teach them, instead of going and buying a $120,000 car, buy rental property and take out mortgages and annuitize your income for life. That's what Takeo Spikes does, by the way, up in Atlanta. He takes guys when they leave the NFL and works with them on transitioning with all their money. I'm not going to argue with Takeo Spikes. If he tells me to sit, I'm going to sit. If he tells me to do whatever, I'm going to do whatever he says. But I think what is going on, we've had 6 years. This is the 6th year of NIL. Since 1963, there have been only 6 schools that have won the SEC. It's the same ones: Florida, Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, and LSU. Nobody else has done it. Now, the one that I think is going to do it before, it'll be Oklahoma. Don't sleep on Oklahoma. They're hungry. They're mean. They're tough. They got enough redneck in them to be good. Texas, it's too nice. You can make things too nice. But I will say this: Florida, just let them roar.
Right.
What you got to, and I love that schedule. I would embrace that schedule, saying we get the honor to play the toughest schedule in the country. How easy is it to motivate yourself and be disciplined to prepare when you?
Well,
got
I think it's pretty cool too, because you mentioned Oklahoma, and supposedly they're bringing Boomer and Sooner to the swamp. So we'll see.
Oh God, are you serious?
Supposedly they came and measured to see if they could fit. So that was the rumor. I don't know if that's true. We'll see when we play Oklahoma. That'll be there on huh?
I like that.
I love it.
Let me throw this out there real quick. I want to get to this just because I think it's funny. So to kind of finish up, take about a minute, go down the list. Give me 3 schools that you guys are historians of the game. Give me 3 schools that have won national titles. I saw this on Instagram. I love some of this stuff that you think. Rob, you can go first. 3 schools that have won national titles. Give me your top 3 schools that have won national titles, multiple, or played for them at least, that will never win another national title.
TCU. They played for it against Georgia and lost 170 to 20 or something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one.
Shout out to Sonny Dykes. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you, another one that I would say that is not going to win one. You say win one or play for one?
Win one. Give me 3 schools that will not win one ever again.
Forever's a long time.
Well, I mean,
but Florida
before
State
we walk up out
doesn't
of
look
here.
good. Yeah. Florida
Yeah.
State went
That's
from
one that I thought of. Yeah.
just like how that happened, but it's happened.
TCU, Florida State, and then who else?
TCU, Florida State, and I'll say another one. I hate to say this, but at their rate, Clemson.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But they're not embracing. They're not adapting. They're going to go the way of the ivory-billed woodpecker.
All right, Ben.
Oh man, 3 schools. I know they ain't gonna like this, but Miami. I just you know why? I'm gonna say this, and I'm not.
Just run the list. We gotta go. Run the list.
Miami, Clemson, and number 3. Even though they played with 2, they'll never win it. Oregon, they'll never win a national championship. I just don't see it.
That's the preseason number 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little bit nostalgic, and Rob, you'll love this. I would say in any particular order, FSU, and I always tell Florida to be careful because I think they could end up being this school, Nebraska, and as much as I loved Primetime as a player, Colorado will never win another national.
You know what? Let me. You know what?
And we've talked about on the show how special that was. But go ahead, Ben, real quick.
I'm gonna switch mine. I mean, I do agree with Clemson, right? I do agree with Colorado. I'm gonna tell you, USC.
Oh, never,
because they got everything, but it's just not happening. I got SC.
I think all those schools bit off more than they can chew, simply because there are 2 schools that are 2.5 hours apart from one another that are going to keep that from happening in the Big Ten. Yeah. And that's Ohio State and Michigan. Because you think Michigan was physical under Harbaugh, you about to see how physical they can be under Whittingham for sure. But so I think that move to the Big Ten is going to hurt those West Coast schools when it comes to football, because you're grabbing those guys. I mean, you look at Chris Henry Jr. He was out there at Mater Day. They could have snatched him up. He sticks to his Ohio State commitment, comes all the way back across the country. I know that's home, but he was out there for the picking, and USC couldn't flip him. So I think that people forget, and Rob, you said it, we say it, in this world, you could take right there on Woody Hayes Drive, and you could drop him in Auburn, Alabama. You could drop him in Gainesville, Florida. You could drop him in Tuscaloosa. You could drop him in Columbia, South Carolina. And every play on that roster would fit. Speaking of Ohio, shout out to my man, Garrett Rosenberger. I coached his dad, Mike Rosenberger, in college. Got an offer from Florida this weekend. So one of the top linemen in the country, Rob, class of 2020-28. And we talk about finding talent anywhere in Ohio. Chillicothe, Ohio.
I love that name.
Right there off of 35. So on the way to West Virginia. So yeah, there's talent everywhere in the Buckeye State. But Ben, what's going on? 84 Reasons.
Man, we got some good. Finally, if you get to these youngins, man. VB3 gonna be coming up. Miles Graham gonna be coming up. Khalil Jackson gonna be coming up. Byron Bam Harmon, a former teammate of mine, Jacksonville, Florida. Linebackers coach, got a chance to sit down with him, and I ain't never seen, we call him Bam, obviously. I ain't never seen Bam smile so much in my life, man. I mean, just seeing him, that's full circle, though. Being from Jacksonville, playing in Florida, becoming a coach, and now you get to coach at Florida. Hey, man, I was just really, really happy for him, man, to see Bam as a father, talk fatherhood, talk coming back to Gainesville, talk walking into Jacksonville, your hometown, with the Florida Gator orange and blue on. So yeah, man, 84 Reasons, man. We're making the rounds. Was blessed enough to sit down with Coach Summerall. He gave me 20 minutes. It felt like an hour and a half. I would want to play for a dude like that. And I can see why he's well loved.
And coming soon on the Lowdown with Loren Meadows, we definitely gonna take a run at getting Summerall as well. Rob, who we got on the show tomorrow?
Got Yancey Porter checking in from Oxford on Ole Miss, and
My
Kevin
guy.
Dawson on Arkansas, and we got Vince Ferrara on Tennessee. Still waiting, possibly Ralph Russo from the Athletic up in New York. But I think it's also, is Tennessee, are they in Nebraska? Are they the same situation? And the other one, I wasn't going to say, I thought Southern Cal, same thing with Georgia Tech. Coach Hopeful is what they're calling Coach Hype, Josh Hype. So, interesting.
How is it that I've met Yancey Porter in person, but I've yet to meet Rob Browne in person?
You will soon. I'm coming down next month. This was fun, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you guys. Definitely appreciate you joining us. Shout out to Titan MRI and Imaging. Got to get them in. No insurance, no problem. No appointment, no problem. Larger MRI machines for patient comfort. 3 locations, 2 in Gainesville, including 1 at the Millennium Center and 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. Coming soon to Ocala, Florida, to give you the same great customer service. Titan MRI and Imaging, it's your choice. And we appreciate you guys joining us on this edition, Tuesday night edition of the Gator Lowdown with Loren Meadows. We'll see you next week, recording live from somewhere.
Who you with? Gators. Say it proud. Gators. Make them feel that. Shake the whole crowd. Orange, blue, Gators breaking through. Swamp roll out, that's what we do. Chomp, chomp, bite down there through. Whole crowd shaking when we aim at you.